Yo, what's up guys, it's Talon. So today I want to show you a really broken strategy with mid lane Echo specifically that is extremely hard for the enemy to counter. So it's going to be looking for a really fast wave clear level 1 and then invading on level 2. The reason Echo is so good at this is because if you go straight up to the turret as soon as the minion wave is getting there, then you can first ability one time and then first ability again and pretty much clear the wave before jungle camp spawn or barely, after they spawn, and then easily invade when you're level 2 and the enemy jungle is level 1. Now there's a few things to understand about the strategy. The first one is you can only do it into an enemy laner who doesn't have a lot of damage level 1, such as Vladimir, Kayle, etc. You cannot do it into a, Yone, a Lucian, a Jace, etc. And then also you need to ignite the enemy jungle as you're invading them before their camp gets to 600 HP. That way they won't smite to last hit and try to heal off of the camp, because you need the ignite anti-heal on their camp so that they don't heal too much on the smite, when you ignite them, because you need the anti-heal from ignite. And then with those two things, you saw me get a first blood on the enemy jungle, and you might think, Talon, why do you only show us the games where you pop off, where you get really good luck? This isn't going to happen realistically often. I have done this at least 4 times in the last 2 days, and I've probably played, let's say, maybe 20 to 15 Echo games total within that time. And so about 30% of my games I've done this. 20%, whatever, math is cringe and stupid. Who loves math, right? Anyways, the point is, this is something that works out relatively commonly, and something you can do. I only really recommend doing it on blue because you can't really invade red side level 2. It's going to be a lot more difficult. And the nice thing is, if you end up just warding the blue buff and nobody's there, then you just go back to lane, and it's like, who really cares? You don't really want to hard force level 1 as Echo anyway, so you might as well use that time to get other value. So with that early lead that we now have, we're able to get an early mana boots recall, and then we're able to continue pushing really hard. So you can continue this strategy and this pacing because the enemy jungle is going to be really behind. So after that initial invade, as the Vladimir is recalling, I'm going to push this wave extremely fast and then look for another ward to try to find the enemy jungle to see if we can spot him or if anything like that can happen. And so we end up using the thing to find him on his red, and we go and mess with him on his red, and because I'm level 5 and he's level 4, he has to jump away, and then he ends up flashing over there, but he flashes right into my ultimate. And yeah, I mean, at that point you just can't be happy if you're the Cosmics. Getting invaded on both sides, he thinks that he flashes away, but my ultimate's right there, and yeah, I felt pretty bad for him at this point, but not really, because, I don't really like the cockroach very much, so I was totally okay with screwing over the cockroach. And then early on, yeah, we get that double, or those 2 kills onto the Cosmics, and we get quite ahead in the early game. So it's obviously a really good thing. It works out quite consistently because you just have a bunch of level 2 damage early on, and then you just play for this constant pressure, and now you get to roam 24/7. And that's really what Echo likes to do. Like, Echo is not a lane-focused champion. He is very much a roam-first type of champion. If you see an angle to kill in your lane, obviously go for it, but your real goal is to push the lane. Now, to speak more generally about Echo mid, there are a few things to keep in mind when you're trying to do this, pushing a roam strategy. Keep in mind, first of all, that a lot of champions are not going to allow you to push and roam really, really early, like, again, Jace, Lucian, any champion with really sustained damage, basically. So most AP champions, even, Syndra, Vladimir, whatever, they have pretty, ability focused damage. And so once their abilities are on cooldown, you're not really scared of anything. But an AD champion whose damage is based on attack speed is going to be a lot scarier consistently, which is why it's going to be more worrying to go on them level 1 at the wave, because they're going to pressure you off really hard. And then here you saw we look for another roam. We end up getting the kill on Jhin. Almost got the Soraka with the collat from our first ability, but barely did not. And so we're still in a good spot, but unfortunately gave away a shutdown. A little unfortunate, but we're still very happy with the overall situation. We're getting a lot of roams off. We're impacting a lot of lanes. We still crashed a wave and got value for our team and everything like that. And so you can kind of notice the difference here, right? Because in a lot of my recent Syndra videos, I've been showing you guys how I punish someone else who tries to out-roam me. They'll push, or they won't push the wave, they'll just roam straight away, and then they'll go down and gold to me. But because I am pushing the wave before I roam, this Vladimir is not getting gold, right? He's not getting any additional gold compared to me. I'm getting that gold lead, I'm getting ahead, and then I'm also getting those roams. So I'm up 800 gold onto this Vladimir. Whereas again, say that, it was like that Ahri I played against in that earlier video, they wouldn't have even really been ahead. And then again, we look for another invade because their jungle is really slow on pacing now because of all the invades where we set him behind. And so we get another invade onto his camp, just constantly using our wards on the camp. So notice how I'm not really using my wards on river or on bushes, which is what most people do. I'm warding camps instead. So that's kind of an important thing to keep in mind as well. And then here we just try to go camp to hover the red buff in case the Kha'Zix tries to contest so that our Kayle can get it. He sees us on the or with the sweeper, and so we just go for the objective now. And you're going to see our Teemo is making this game tough. This guy, you know, I think when the Fiora was 6k gold, he was like 3.5k. So he's getting completely stomped. I mean, he's already a 4-kill Fiora. So the game is by no means a free game at the moment. We're definitely going to have to continue to keep this pacing up and play really well if we want to win with this, you know, silly little Teemo here that we have. So that's something to keep in mind as well. It's like the game's not free, but we do scale really well. We have the Kayle, you know, we have the Echo. Those types of things are really, really good scaling. Kayle tries to get the steal, but doesn't quite grab it. And so, you know, again, we're about even gold as a team. I think they're ahead 1k right now. They're ahead of Dragon. So they're looking nice, right? But, you know, with the gold lead that I have, we're still feeling okay about this game. I have the anti-heal because they have Vlad, Soraka, Fiora. I got my Lich Bane and my Mana Boots. So, you know, we're feeling pretty good about item-wise. Being at this point in the game, like, I'm definitely happy. And I'm mostly just worried about this Fiora. And when you have, like, where most of your map's doing pretty well, because everyone else doing pretty well, you know, I'm doing well, bot lane's well, jungle's doing solid, because we invaded their jungle, so he gets really ahead. A lot of mistakes that people will make is that they'll try to play hard around their loser, you know, their person who's playing bad. But notice how I'm ganking the bot lane, right? I'm not looking for this Fiora. Like, that Fiora, to me, doesn't exist. I am blind to Fiora. Maybe it's because I'm scared of women. Like, that might be, you know, why, but... Anyways, like, who really knows, you know? But the reason is just because my teammate is so far behind that it's like there's no way that I'm gonna kill Fiora. She's just gonna double kill us. I don't have the damage to kill her. She's just gonna outplay me. There's no real reason. So instead, I'm gonna push this wave as fast as I can, and then I'm gonna go straight to bot side. Or in this case, I'm gonna look for the Jhin because he, for some reason, lets me go on to him. I try to kill him, but Soraka ult ends up healing him. Otherwise, we would have killed. So we have to ult out. A little unfortunate, but not the end of the world. You know, we'll take it. Either way. But yeah, so now we're just looking for another realm. We're looking for the invades. We're just constantly looking to keep up this pace of this game where we grab, you know, the mid lane, we push the mid lane wave. After pushing the mid wave, we go bot, we look for another realm, look for the ganks, all these types of things. You can just see the constant pacing. But again, like, the issue that people have is when they're doing this, they're not pushing the wave first. And so here I skipped the wave initially because I knew I could get a quick roam off, but then I'm going to go right back to the wave afterwards. And instead my Kayle ends up grabbing this. And so I've kind of spoken to you guys a lot about the strategy, and I've spoke a lot about pushing mid wave then roaming and whatever. So what I want to speak about now for the rest of this game is kind of the macro of my team, because they actually, apart from Teemo, including myself and also my teammates, had some really good macro, and I kind of want to point out some of these things in the rest of the game. So as the game goes on, that's really what we're going to focus on. Okay, so the first thing here is that in the mid game, what you typically want to play around when you don't really have any specific objective is going to be turrets. And so in this case, I'm going to look to help my team get the bot turret, and they just got a kill, so they're really chilling there. But I'm trying to get this turret, play around this turret. And then the other important thing is to protect turrets. And so the only risk about this play here for me to go get this turret is that mid could die. But my Teemo, who despite playing very bad, makes a really, really good play to cover that bot lane. And what this allows us to do is then take the bot lane tier 2 as we have someone still covering the mid lane tier 1. And then even if they're getting the top lane tier 2, we're going to easily get this bot tier 2. Now, my teammates make the mistake of not coming here. We had enough numbers and we knew where other people were on the map to where we could have gotten that bot turret. My team doesn't follow up, and so we're not able to get it fully. But I still want to point out sort of that kind of shifting where it's like I'm going to stack an additional number instead of going straight to mid on that bot lane because I have the potential of a turret. Where normally I would tell you guys not to really do that, but because it's the mid game and we have time to potentially break open an easy turret, we're going to do it. And then we have the time to also break open the tier 2, right? And again, my team doesn't follow. That's all right. It happens. But then that shifting where the Teemo now covers mid is really, really nice. And then we kind of have just everyone sort of shifting around. And then now my Varus and Melio, they go towards top lane. And the reason that it's really easy for them to go towards top lane here is because they just pushed out the bot wave really far. And so we don't have to go on that bot wave because it's only just now being pushed towards the bot side. And so now we can hard stack the numbers on this side. And so again, you see me stacking myself on the same side of the map to where my good players are. I'm literally ignoring this Teemo. And then like maybe we'll go and cover later, right? Because now the goal here is like protect this turret. I don't want this turret to die completely, so I'm going to try to see if I can protect it, right? But I'm not going to be over forcing. I'm not going to try to force a ton of fights, and I'm not going to, like, you know, run it down into the really fed people. But we do see an angle to go on to the Fiora, but I do blow my ignite. But I think we still do get the kill, yeah, and then we end up getting this Jhin as well. And so again, you can kind of see this rotation. It's like the things that we want to play around is the turrets in the mid game, and we're going to play around those turrets for our stronger members, not, you know, playing for the turret with our weaker member. And then when it comes to the weaker members, the only time that we're really paying attention to them is to protect these certain turrets. So the reason we go towards the Teemo side, you know, earlier is because just to protect that bot turret, right? And then notice, because we actually got a lot of that chunk on the bot turret earlier, we're now able to easily get the bot tier 2 here. And so you can just see how important these turrets are. They're the major objective. You can see I kind of scarred the Kha'Zix here from my earlier invade, so he gives me the blue buff. Appreciate him for that. But yeah, you can just see this constant moving. Like, even me, in the mid game, I've not gotten very many kills. We've gotten one additional kill on that Jhin just now. Every other kill was in the early game. And yet we're creating this gold, and we're making our team's game really easy by just taking complete control over the map, because we're constantly rotating with these strong members. Again, even here, making another play with the virus. Sometimes I like calling them virus. I don't know. I just do. And so again, my Kayle does a really good job as I'm rotating towards the bot side to then take this mid wave, right? And the reason it's good for the Kayle to take the mid wave is because a jungler like Kayle, who scales really well, taking those additional waves is going to mean they're going to be able to hard carry later on in the game with their scaling, and they're really focused on farming. And so that's a really important thing as well, is that as I skip a wave to rotate, because again, I tell you guys not to skip waves, but there are certain situations where you can. And obviously it's hard to describe every scenario when I'm talking, which is why I give you guys the general points. But in a situation like this, where we are kind of wanting to really play around those stronger members and make a play with them really quickly, and we're already in a position to do so, and we're not very worried about that mid turret being pressured by the enemy because we have vision of them, or we know they're probably going to respond to us, etc., we have that additional time to maybe skip a wave real quick, make a quick play, and then still go back to the wave afterwards. And then again, if you have teammates making proper plays, they'll cover those waves for you. But even if they don't cover the waves, it's not the end of the world if you're, you know, making the decision in the correct circumstance. And then here we go, and we push out the top wave rather than just going with our team now, because now that the Baron is starting to spawn, I want to be on this side of the map if I can, so that if I do need to rotate or protect the Baron or do anything like that, we can. And then we let the Fiora split push on this other side of the map, because she's really dangerous and I don't really want to respond to her. I'd rather play around these types of people, trying to kill people like Jhin and Soraka, and that's just way easier. You know, it's way easier to kill these random Jhin and Soraka who are playing bad than it is to kill that random Fiora. Now, my Kayle actually got a good kill onto them there with the Teemo onto the Fiora, and so we end up having complete map control to the point where we can now just force an objective really easily. And the only important thing is to make sure Kha'Zix can't sneak in. So I got to see if, you know, we can zone Kha'Zix or anything. But it looks like Kha'Zix is spotted on the map, and we know we can kind of just burst it down if we do ult this and get a bunch of damage onto it. But then, again, Kha'Zix shows, so we know we don't really have any worries. And now we're hitting the death cap as well. So we're hitting the item spikes, we're hitting the Baron. And again, we're going to push out a side lane. Because we do want to make sure we're utilizing the Baron on all lanes rather than just going straight through mid lane. So I believe we do go topside here. Maybe I'm wrong. You know, maybe Past Talon is not going to go to the correct lane. We'll see. But I'm pretty sure that's what ends up happening. And so again, we just kind of want to get these lanes pushed out. The only thing I realize is that I cannot 1v1 Fiora, as we kind of have been speaking about. Right, so Fiora is definitely going to win the 1v1, and I kind of need to be wary of that. Just go for wave clear and everything, but I do believe she surprises me here and ends up getting a lot of damage onto me. I think she's in that bush or something, or maybe she just shows up somewhere. But I know she does, yeah, she does end up just coming here, and then we end up using our ult to kind of bait her. So we at least don't die, but we go ult for ult, we get the lane pushing a bit, and then we now shift towards mid. So again, because we realize we can't really react to the Fiora or respond to her, when she goes there, I'm just going to start going towards the mid side, right? To sort of get her distracted there for a bit longer, and then, you know, be the first one to rotate. So it's, again, that kind of constant moving, playing around the stronger members when you can, all these types of things that are really, really valuable and all of that. So now we're just going for the break onto the turret. I randomly ulted because I think I just got bored. Honestly, I don't really know what that was. Like, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I don't know what Past Talon was thinking. I'll have a word with him. I'll make sure he doesn't do anything dumb like that again. But I think it's fine because we are up 2 inhibs and up a lot of gold. So Kha'Zix does get the shutdown though too as well. So we are, you know, definitely throwing this a little bit, making it interesting. We're still up like 10k gold though. So, you know, as long as we don't completely run it down, we're pretty chill. And my Kale is really fed. Like, again, I think my Kale had really good decision making this game. It was really farming quite well. And just generally, I thought my team's macro, apart from the Teemo, was really good. And we actually had a pretty nice team here, which was nice because I was kind of, I was having some bad luck yesterday in games, so it was nice to get a pretty solid team overall. It felt good. Like, it's always nice to see kind of, the proper decision making, proper rotations, that type of thing. And then, also just shutting down this Kha'Zix with that early invade that we showed you guys, I thought was really nice. So I kind of wanted to show you guys, both of those parts of the game, like the early game kind of Echo cheese that's actually really common that you can do with Echo, and then the later parts of the game, some good macro from a majority of my team, which was nice. And then, yeah, we're just kind of closing this game out. Pretty straightforward at this point. Just push out the sides, don't rush, don't force anything. My teammates get some nice kills. We end up just ending the game here, so just skip through because, it's pretty straightforward there. So that's pretty much all I have for the video. As always, I do coaching for $15 an hour, so if you want to get coached by a rank 5 sovereign autofill player, just DM me on Discord. Talon1169 is my Discord, or you can find it in the link in the description of any of my recent YouTube videos. And yeah, as always, I hope you guys enjoyed. We'll quickly show you the scoreboard here. Then we'll end the video. So unfortunately, Varus stole my MVP. Kind of mean of him. But okay, I guess I skipped. So never mind. You don't get to see the end. I will see you guys later.